It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Flying down from Nova Scotia today.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
I have a dream.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Oh, and we're back. We are back, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
we are.
I'm one of your co-hosts, the Samurai from Sergeant and Samurai Podcast, Garrett, and then I got my co-host, the Cat from Two Doomed Men, Chris over there.
What's up?
Yep, and we're coming back for our Thursday editions. I know we post sometimes on different days, but this is our Thursday midday edition
Yes.
because there's so much stuff going on that we gotta pump the content out there for
Bonus
for the
content.
peoples. Yeah. So
Quality bonus content.
yep. So make sure you guys go check out all of our sponsors, our promo codes, our SGT, SAM. I know your guys is what?
Promo
Doomed?
code Doom.
Promo
I think
code
for
Doomed.
for Patriot Cigars, I think it's just Doom. DOOM.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can check us out, Patriot Cigars. I know we got Dr. Kirk Elliott on my end, 2 L's, 2 T's / SGT SAM. That's all your silver, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, etc. And
I
then
gotta
I
start
also
putting money
have,
into that shit.
you should have started a while ago. You should
Yeah.
see the stock market right now. Yeah, we got that. Then I also have Freedom First Coffee. FreedomFirstCoffee.com. If you want to get jazzed up in the morning, go check them out. Patriot loving mother lovers, promo code SGT. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. I know in my show, and I caught a little bit of your show. I haven't been able to listen to the full episode, but I know we were talking about the UFOs. Me and James talked about all that stuff on our Winning Wednesdays yesterday. But I think me and Cap are going to focus a little bit on how we're under pretty much attack right now.
Yes.
That's the only way for
Chemical
me to put
warfare. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the only way for me to kind of put it out to the people right now is, and I know we spoke about this a little bit, but like you can't screw the stuff up this many times unless it's on purpose. Okay.
Yes.
And there's like, we know there's like this magical number, more than 5. Like it's not a statistical coincidence anymore. It's like, it's done on purpose. So, I mean, the big one that's getting, the most light right now. But I mean, I know I've been sending you a couple over the past couple hours, but is Palestine, I like to call it.
Yeah.
So, but
there's a great meme of E.M. Omar, and it's like E.M. Omar pulls out rescinds her support when realizes East Palestine is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so true, right? So East Palestine, it's actually in Ohio, but,
but I'm sorry, what did I?
Yeah, Pennsylvania. It's all right. We knew where you were headed with that one, Bubba. But yeah, so we have that going on. Now, one of the wild things about this is, yes, the train was derailed, but they chose to light it on fire. It was like
BlackRock and Vanguard chose to light it on fire,
and JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
So yep, they chose to light it on fire and then tell you it's okay to breathe and drink and eat and everything else. What was that movie years ago? Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah.
With
Angela
yep. Julia
Roberts, yeah.
Yep. A similar situation. Oh, they came around and said the water was safe and everybody's getting cancer and everything else. But I'm sure you've seen the photos too from space, if you guys believe in space, right? Okay. So that it's literally the equivalent of Chernobyl happening in rural America.
They nuked the town.
Nuked it.
Yeah.
But they still
and
have
like
your
there's
best
already
interest at
like
hand.
fish are already dying in the water and stuff. Like it's pretty bad over there. We'll continue down this path. I have I'll get into it now. So last night when Skaggs and I were talking about this Chinese spy balloon shooting down UAPs, there's no debris. So did you shoot anything down? What are you covering up? What are you distracting us from? The Nord Stream pipeline, this, that. I thought to myself for a second, we shot down a Chinese spy balloon. Now several chemical-filled trains get derailed. Could this potentially be Chinese retaliation?
Could it?
Yeah.
Could it be?
Yeah.
So, Skaggs always busts my balls because he's like, oh, Garrett thinks it's China, blah, blah. No, Skaggs, I'm just putting it out there, homeboy. I think it's everybody, right?
Oh,
but
easily.
But a big but here, I know, is what's going on with China and what's going on with all our derailments and what's going on with them sending all their money to our universities and what's them funding all our police. Like, yes, do I think they're
buying up farmland and
around military bases, etc. So, is he the boogeyman, like he likes to say? Yes. Is this the boogeyman right now? Is Russia the boogeyman over in Ukraine? Yes, there's always a boogeyman. They're all connected. But when you have to put a name to the face for everything, what started everything? Wuhan. Right? That's what really kicked this off in 2020 and has accelerated things into a pace that we have never seen on this earth before. Right?
No. Well, not in this country, at least.
Exactly. And that's what I said. We've been very fortunate, besides, obviously our revolutionary wars and, the French Indian Wars and the Civil Wars. We haven't had to battle on our own ground in quite some time. And I don't think people are even realizing that we are under attack. Like, we are under attack.
Right.
Our elections have been under attack. Our politicians have been bought and sold.
Healthcare system,
education, food processing,
internet usage,
GMO crops. I mean, internet usage, chemical warfare, chemical castration. We're under medical tyranny attacks. You're seeing rapid rates of strokes, heart attacks. You're seeing rapid rates of stage 4 cancer in perfectly healthy people after this. I don't understand what else it's going to take for somebody else to wake up, because you're starting to, I think, even see. Me and James played this I think it was I don't know where it was, but it was like, blue-haired liberal, and they were like, holy shit, this shit is happening. Like, they had their awakening like live on like they're like, what is going on with it? And I'm like, dude, like, it's gonna get to
the party, pal.
And you're welcome with open arms, because you know what? I mean, this is what people have to understand is, like, we are not right or left. Like, yes, is the left completely out of their mind? Yes. Are the rights a bunch of cucks? Yes, they are. So, like, this is about the people. Until people don't understand, like, we might not agree on everything, but we need to find common ground on something to keep our civilization alive. And then the other thing is like, we got to also understand there's about 1,000 people controlling 7 billion. So when the 7 billion people stand up, 1,000 people are going to go away.
Yeah.
Right.
It's exactly what's going to happen. We outnumber them a million
tremendously.
one. Yeah.
But what are they trying to do? Keep us sick, keep us needy.
There was a tweet of the week last night. Let me pull it up on my end. I'm not going to be able to share it. One of my tweets of the week last night. Where is here we go. Adam Kissinger, right? He's a solid source of material. If Elon Musk thinks it's the algorithm that is causing low engagement, it's not. It's the peddling of conspiracies. Americans are overstimulated and exhausted, and he feeds that. Embrace boredom. Oh, you want us not doing research. You want us not to think for ourselves. You want us to be bored and complacent. So then all this information that crosses Twitter doesn't get seen. He wants us unprepared, uninformed.
That's what, well, I mean, that's how the left gets most of their voters. It's a very uninformed populace that just votes, that way. Conservatives are more informed, but they're just as ill-informed when you really sit down and break it down on issues and everything else. Because I know people that are like in the Republican committee that don't even know what's going on.
Right.
And I'm like, well, this candidate's this, and they're like, no, he's not. And I'm like, what about this, and this? And they're
Yeah.
like, well, but my buddy told me to vote for him. I'm like, well, does your buddy
He's
work for him?
Republican.
He
Yeah.
works for him, huh? Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why that went down, right?
Yep.
So it's wild. I mean, like we're just talking about. Okay, let's put this in context, just from the chemical under attack, right? So we have all those things going on. Oh, they're just reconnaissance. No, what do you think? Do you think it's a coincidence that with all the other coincidences that have happened in the past, but
we don't even need to talk about all those.
I
Yeah.
know
All
that
the we were right moments.
so you got the spy balloon going over, and then all of a sudden you have like 5 major chemical events, and like, oh, we were just tracking weather patterns. Were they just tracking which way the smoke's going to blow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it seems like a pretty logical situation, right?
Yeah, see which way smoke. Yeah.
So we have the train derailment up there, and then they chose to nuke it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then that's what really worries me too, is like they have our own government and our own businesses doing
I've
the
been
work.
seeing, they nuked a town to install a railway or something like that.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, I didn't understand what that meant. So are they going to tear this city down and just put an industrial rail yard that way so they can move supplies freely or something? I
don't know if it's supplies or humans on cattle cars to bring us all to the gulags.
Yeah.
Got to make room for that
Re-education
too.
camps, the COVID camps. Yeah.
You got to make room for that.
Yeah.
So you got that going on. Then you had another train derailment in where was it? There was another one. There's another one just right today. I sent it to you, Cap.
So just today there was the fire at the factory full
there's
of
the
plastic
fire
pots in Texas.
Yep. No, the fire factory was in Kissimmee, Florida.
Okay, Florida.
Okay.
Sorry, I got all my states mixed up.
No,
here
you're good. Well,
all...
that's why I'm keeping you in line, sir. And then we have another train derailment that just happened a couple hours ago. It's 6 cars. This was brought to you by Gateway Pundit. 6 cars at least off track. Okay. Whereas this Van Buren, Michigan. Oh, what didn't they shoot something over down off of Lake Huron?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's connection, huh? Okay.
And then we got the truck that overturned in Arizona.
Yep. And there was one in Texas as well.
Yep.
Same day. So that's 4, all carrying hazardous waste.
That is now in our air, in the water, in the land. Huge
Where's Greta Thunberg?
Thank you. Where's
Al
Gore? Yeah. Where's all the environmentalists?
Where are they?
Yeah. And Greta Thunberg had the balls to write a book and print it on fucking paper.
What is wrong with her?
To tell us how to save the fucking environment. She cut down thousands of trees to save the environment.
You can't make this shit up, right? You can't. Like, why don't you just put it out on ebook, girl?
Yep. I mean, come on now.
Like, who is handling that publicist?
Yep.
Well, because they're like, we make more money selling it. It's all money, guys, and ladies.
They wouldn't. Al Gore and Greta wouldn't be in the climate change position they are if they weren't making money. Just like Al Sharpton wouldn't be the racist that he is if he wasn't making money from peddling race. It's just the way it is.
It is, and it's sad but true. It's sad but true. So we have 4 balloons, 4, let's say 4 to 6 chemical spills, warfare, everything else. And then they're talking about, everything's got to go green. Everything's got to go green. We need our carbon footprint like this. Like, people forget, they're like, oh, the CO2. Like, people forget that's what trees need to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to drop our tree production down. And what do trees provide for us? What we need to live.
Yeah. But oxygen's scary to breathe now, so we can't be doing that either.
Oh yes, you forgot about that, right?
Yeah.
I know.
So I guess the end all result here of the Dr. Evil plan would be government issued oxygen tanks of government funded air that you're only allowed to breathe, and you can only get air if your social media is in tip top
If your
shape.
social if your social credit score is in tip top shape.
Yeah. Yes.
And this way they can keep you weak because you would need more oxygen to attend your white supremacist meeting at the gym every week.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen Wall-E, right? The Pixar movie with the little robot.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
So in it, they have the people. So Wall-E is like a garbage droid that was left over on Earth. We destroyed Earth through, used up all three. And so then like all of Earth's people went on that like space cruise. And all of them are fat, obese people on these little hover carts that have a TV and like a phone in the system. And they're just the laziest, fattest people. That's what the government wants from us. Just here's your government chair that's going to wheel you around. You could eat as much McDonald's as you want because that's what the goal is.
So I posed this question to Cap yesterday, and he kind of hit on it a little bit. I'm like, what is the end game?
Yeah.
Like, what is the end game? What the fuck does Bill Gates care if I, like to work out or do something else?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's such a grand scheme of things that is so beyond our scope of what's really going on. I mean, we tell you guys about, the pedophiles, the satanic shit going on that we see at the Super Bowls and the Grammys and everything else, right? We're telling you about the food. We're telling you about the control. We're telling you about the vaccinations. We're telling you about all this. There's so many attacks on just regular people on all fronts that were bombarded at all times. But what is the ultimate end goal? Do they want to control us? Do they want to kill us? Do they want a population? Because it's one, like certain things outweigh the others, right? So, okay, you want to depopulate? All right, you got to get rid of people. Get it. All right, this is how you're going to do it. You're throwing it at all fronts. But at the same time, these people need workers. These need people to control, to get money and keep their positions of power. So what do they gain by murking all of us, right? So that's where like it's hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, you're going to need worker bees that are strong, that are going to be able to continue to do what you're bidding and be able to mine your lithium and be able to do all your other stuff. And is it like, okay, the US is the ground where we just kind of like sit back and run stuff, and we're going to make those people dumb and whatever, and then we're just going to continue to use the slave labor over in Africa and everywhere else that they're doing it? And those people are easier to control because there's no propaganda. They only work for like $1 a day. And they're like, all right, we already got this continent on lock. Boom. Now we got to take over here and dumb these people down. Like, what is the ultimate end game?
No, it's
mind blowing.
It's obviously absolute power. But you look at like George Soros and you look at Klaus Schwab, and they're both men in their early 90s, right? I mean, even whatever
they accomplish their goal.
Yes, you're going to be in power you're not going to be, I don't care what secret medicine they have, what cure that they can afford. I think Andrew Tate's brother one time was like, cancer is a poor man's disease. He's like, you think there's only 2 types of chemo? He's like, there's only 2 types of chemo allowed for you. He's like, if you have $50 million to throw, you could get the chemo treatment that's specific for the type of cancer you have, and you'll be cured of cancer within several months. So even with George Soros having access to something like that, he's not going to live to 145 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
unless he's a vampire, they like that blood drinking.
And I think our man Keanu Reeves might be a vampire. So,
yeah, because I like him.
I do too. I do.
I know.
There's the old school picture of him, man. And
I know, dude. He hasn't aged a bit.
And the older he gets, he's getting faster. You ever see him do his gun? You ever see him do his gun cycles?
Dude,
his defensive training.
Yeah.
Dude, he is. And so he does the John Wick stuff in real life at a shooting range where he runs around and does a flip, shoots 2 targets, unloads, reloads, racks it, falls to his knees, starts shooting. He's getting faster the older he gets, and he's not aging. He is gaining superpowers as he becomes an old man. I don't get it.
Dude, it's wild, right?
I bet you he could bench 315, no problem. Spaghetti arms, just 3 plates on each side. Yeah.
He's got a Volkswagen and a Harley. All right. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I know. And that's the crazy part, because it's just so intertwined with our culture. It's so intertwined with our with the Hollywood elites. It's so intertwined with the politicians. I mean, you're really starting to see more and more the separation of classes of peasants and elite. And the beautiful thing about America
And
is
they
we
got to
always
get
had
rid of that middle class. Yeah.
they do. We've always had that middle class, and that's what's made us great, and that's what made us prosperous. And I mean, you see, it does work, and that's the problem. They know it works when you have that. And the people at the top don't want to lose it. But like I said on our show the other day, like, okay, if it comes down to money, right? Like, money's not real. Right. It's a made up thing that we decide. Like, we have everything we could have bartered with on the plant: services, food, resources. We could have just bartered it and lived that lifestyle. Right. And then some assholes like, why don't we just make a dollar bill?
Yeah.
It's
really throw a wrench
lighter.
in things.
Yeah, it's lighter than carrying around all your cows to sell the market. You can just buy and blah, blah, blah. So, like, I mean, for convenience again, look what happened for convenience again, right? But the money isn't real, right? So they're always like, we need more money for climate change. We need more money. Then fucking just hit the print button.
Yeah. Print
Why
as
you gotta
much as
tax
you
me?
need.
If you can print whenever you want and you're hitting it, right?
Yep.
Then why do you need it? Oh, you need money for bridges and
who is
infrastructure? Hit the print button. Why do you got to
who
tax
is the
me?
guy? Who's that old white guy that was when they were talking about the Fed and printing money, and he just straight up said it out loud. He's like, yeah, we can digitally make as much money as we want. You need $1 billion? Boom, press a 0.
It was the head of the vid.
Yeah.
Because digitally, like, and that's the other thing. That's where it gets even more scary. Because I know, like, especially
we should just pay off all our debt. Just cut a check.
Yeah, hit the button.
Cut a digital check. We're done.
Hit the button. It's not backed by anything, right?
What does it matter? We're in, how many trillions of debt done today.
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, if you need money and they can just add more and add more, why are we being taxed?
Yeah.
Right? Why?
Yep.
You need more money? Why are you pulling it from me? Just hit the button.
Especially you're saying you're trying to combat inflation. Okay, so stop taxing us.
Yeah, stop taxing us.
Leave us more money.
Yeah.
That what you're getting on is essentially the $1 million question that we don't know. We can be conspiracy theorists. We could be podcasters. We could be truthers. We could be America first. You could be liberal. You could be progressive. What is the actual end game to all of this? Because even if you're a left-wing nut job, you have to ask yourself, what's your own end game? What's the Republicans' end game? Because at the end of the day, the one thing to the average person on both sides of the aisles can say, I'm a Republican and I think the Democratic Party is dirty as fuck. I'm a Democrat and I think the Republican Party is dirty as fuck. Well, hey, guess what? We got fucking common ground right there. What's the end game for these two parties? How come when it's spending money, sending billions of our taxpayer money to Ukraine for their own war, everybody's in agreement? When we're going to go bomb some little village in Afghanistan, everybody's in agreement for it. But when Medicare is on the line, or insulin prices, or an inflation bill, nobody's in agreement. What's the end game here? What's the globalist? What's the World Economic Forum's end game? That's the $1 million question.
I know, and people have to start thinking outside that box a little bit, where it's bigger. And and people go, well, how can we change? How can we do this? And we always say, start small in your communities, everything else, right? But at the end of the day, you do have to start small, and you do have to affect the change on the lower levels. And once you even try to affect change on lower levels, you'll see how much corruption there is all the way down to the town level,
down to the janitor that cleans the governor's private bathroom, man. Yeah,
it's very true. And people don't understand that. Like, because most people are like, oh, I'm busy. They're just busy trying to survive.
Yeah, because you're put in that position by design.
Yes.
By fucking design.
and it's part of, it's part of the plan that I guess me and Cap are trying to figure out is like, what is the end game, right?
Yeah.
So even, like just to kind of put that in, the listeners' ears, like think about that. What is the end game? Because
Yeah.
I've been running over it in my head the past couple of days,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of stuff, backlay, conspiracies, true, but like I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And the only thing that I can literally come up to, and I am not a very religious man, I guess you can say, but it's good versus evil right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fight for the will of the people.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fight for the will of good. This is because we're seeing evil shit happen every day. Who nukes their own town? Who nukes their own town?
Yeah. This is America. Like, you
nuked your own town in America, in the heartlands where there's food and there's crops and it goes to all these tributaries and like you can basically just poison
that water supply,
middle America where we get our food and where we're the safest, where they can't attack us.
Is potentially poisoned from Ohio down to Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The entire north to south of, I guess that would be considered the Midwest, or the Mideast of
Midwest.
the country. Midwest
it's middle of the country.
Yeah, almost
it's
down the
literally
center of the country.
Oh, divided again.
Yeah. By an actual line of poisonous water now.
You literally divided us again.
It's
sickening.
So that's why my answer to this is absolute power. I guess to a point where just there's no middle class across the world. It's just the 7,000 elites employing the 7 billion rubes, and you live in the pods. You eat the bugs. Like you don't get any of the good food. The 7,000 get all the good food. You don't get any money. We pay for your pod. We pay for your water. We pay for your electric stove. We pay for your electric car. Once you say something we don't like, because what they need to stomp out is dissidents, is revolting people going against it, spreading disinformation. You spread disinformation on your Twitter account, your electric car is not going to work. Bah. You didn't show up for work, your electric stove's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's just at the end of the day, I think that's what it really is. Like this one world religion, one world currency, one world government, one world military, because who's gonna, if there was one world military, like, like the small Middle Eastern countries that are going to be like, no, we're not joining that. Boom, press a button, drone the shit out of them. You're done.
Dude, I know. Well, I mean, that's it just baffles my mind that we're sitting here at my age and your age when we grew up in such a different time, even though all this shit was being
90s were the height of civilization, my friend. I think you were on the episode that we talked about this.
I was
90s were the height of civilization. After that we were given this very deadly double-edged sword. We were given social media. We were given a power that, not that we weren't ready for, but a power that grew exponentially beyond our wildest dreams. Because from 1990 to 1999, you had good cars, you had GPS, we had a strong military, you had systems in place to correct the infrastructure. There was no issues. Selling and trading was already digitalized and shit. A lot of things were made easier. It was the height of civilization, and then we were given this new power, and look at where we are now.
Yeah, it's fucking. I don't get speechless a lot, but it makes you like speechless because it's a gift and a curse, double-edged sword, like you said. It gives us the ability to communicate and do what we do on here and spread information. But I mean, we're also just being, shadow banned and throttled every which way. So
and people
it's like,
are being brainwashed.
I know, and we need the people to, like, it's at the point where, like, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. You're letting people wake up. And I mean, I think you'll agree. Just since 2020, there's been a lot more people waking up.
I said the best thing to ever happen to working class citizens, and I'm not talking blue collar citizens. I'm talking about the 9-to-5ers who sit behind a computer in a cubicle all day. I think COVID was the best thing to ever happen to them, because you hear of silent quitting now. You hear of all this stuff. I always, we privately had these conversations, since you work for yourself, and that's something that I'm very interested in. I never saw the point of dedicating myself to some corporation. I'm a newbie. I got hired. I'm making $40,000 a year. I'm working 40 hours a week. The CEO he's probably working more than 40 hours a week, but he's making $4 million a year, or she's making $4 million a year. But in this CEO's convoluted mind, I'm supposed to have the same amount of love, loyalty, respect, and dedication to this company, getting my ass chewed out Monday through Friday, barely making ends meet, that the CEO is supposed to have. This is your baby, pal. You got great kids. I like your kids, but I am never going to love your kids the way you love your kids. And to think that just because you give me a little cheddar on the side, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
no, you have a very valid point.
Yeah.
And I agree with
and
you.
I think like COVID woke people up to that shit.
It does.
Yeah. They were staying there. I worked at a company that lost its 2 best employees one time. This was years ago. And they lost them over simple raises. This one, she was a very intelligent woman. She was with the company for 16 years. Right when she left college, she was showing up early, staying an hour late, bringing work home for an extra 2 hours, knocking out another 4, 5, 6 hours on a Saturday. And you didn't get paid. You only got paid from 9 to 5. So the hour before, the 4 hours after, the shit on was all for free. She had a lot of responsibility. She was getting burnt out. She'd been doing this for years. Then we got a new client, and they put her ahead of that. All her old work started falling apart. She almost lost clients because she's paying attention to this new client. Asked for a $5,000 raise. They said no. This woman is working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and 40 of those, 30 of those hours are for free. And you're going to tell this woman no. She has every right to leave this fucking company now.
1,000%.
Okay. You shouldn't even be putting yourself in. Now, I understand people got responsibilities. You got to work those extra hours. But I mean, I also had another boss who was only interested in what you did after 5 o'clock. Yeah, I swear to God, I used to have a boss. He would come in at 10 o'clock in the morning. We would all get there at 8:30. But he would stay till 6:37, 7:30 every night. He only cared who was there after 5 o'clock. He didn't bother anybody beforehand. What type of leadership is that you're only looking to see who's staying late day in and day out to work for free? Like all the work I did Monday through Friday, no value to it. I didn't do anything as far as he was concerned. Because I didn't stay.
Well, because but I mean, you can't look like that either. So, I mean, I've only worked for myself.
Yeah.
So,
which is a blessing. Blessing and a curse.
Blessing and curse, like everything else. So, like, I see both sides of the coin. But so I get it. But like, if you're coming in at 10 and you're leaving at 7, well, everybody's been in at 8:30 and they're leaving at 5. So that's your choice to come in and stay 2 hours late. Now, if you have people that like, okay, they're staying late and putting the work in. Yeah, I'm also a firm believer. Like, why do you have to stay late if you're efficient?
Yeah. Yep.
Does that make sense?
If we're properly staffed, how come everybody's got to stay an hour
late? Now, is there times where like, okay, there's a budget and there's a crunch time and we got to work? Okay, that's in certain times that you're going to be like, all right, like
last week of the month, like, got it.
Yeah. Or like accountants, like, oh, it's tax season. It's going to be a grind for the next 2-3 months. And then they have the other months where they're just floating and they got more time and everything. But you prepare. Everybody has their season, like the Christmas holiday rush, the New Year's rush, etc. Right? So there are going to be times where you got to dig down, dig in. But I'm a firm believer. Like, I don't micromanage. I don't. I give you a task, boom, complete the task. And I expect you to do the task. And when I have this task there and I just say, hey, where's that? Boom, good, cool. I don't give a fuck how you get it. Just do
Thank
it.
you. That has always been one of my biggest issues at some of these places. You're
Unless
given
somebody
a task.
has to check your work, and it has to be like there's certain things like have to be done uniform.
Yes,
like
if there's a
let's say
scientific
like
formula for your
there's
budget.
like for us, like there's a registration process, right? Let's say, and the same registration process is followed for every client, right? So yes, there has to be certain policies and codes in play, so anybody can walk into the middle of that registration and complete the registration. Anybody can look back and say, okay, this Form A, B, and C, we're done. Boom, that's that. But there's other things that like don't need to be. And
If I tell you to mop the room, I don't care if you start on the right side, the left side, or the middle.
Just get the
mop the
mop,
fucking room.
make sure it's clean.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that's all
Yeah.
I'm saying about. And that's okay. And like that's the whole thing. Like, you know, even my employees, like they take days off, I pay them. They go on vacation, I pay them. Like their paycheck stays the same all year round. Even whether I'm working, whether I decide to close the school, whether I decide to, you know, like they get paid. I just keep them on the simple thing. They get paid no matter what.
Yeah. Keeps them happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that it is what it is. Like, you know, I choose to close for a week between Christmas and you know, New Year's every year because I want to be with my kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, and do I not pay my employee? No, she gets paid through Christmas and everything else on top of her bonus and everything else. So
you have a little gym. I'm not saying you have a little gym,
No,
but like
no,
you
no,
have this
I
little
do.
business, and yet you have between Christmas and New Year's off, vacation, paid vacation time, this, that. I work for a very large company. The CEO is a billionaire. I won't be saying who. We're not off between Christmas. First year, you do not have any paid vacation days, and there's no bonus. There's no bonus. The salespeople, they get, you know, the sales guys who make 200-300 grand a year in commission, they get bonuses. Back of the room guys, there's no bonuses. The accounting people, there's no bonuses. Yeah. Look at the difference.
Profit sharing.
CEO is a billionaire.
So, but this is the other side of the coin. So we're talking about that. Now, from my side of the coin, being the owner and businessman, yeah, I do get paid more. Yeah, I take the risk. Do you put out with the insurance for everybody?
Right.
Do you have to pay all the salaries? Do you have to pay all the inventory? Do you have to do that? No, that's my burden to bear.
No, it's very true.
So that's why I always say to people, like, you want owner money, go do owner shit.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, well, this the pencil factory, right? Like, okay, the guy's putting the graphite in the pencil and he thinks he should be getting as much money as the CEO. Like, did you buy the wood? Did you buy the graphite? Did you pay for the people to hire you? Did you pay for the lights to go on? Did you pay for all this? No. You put the graphite. Yes, you are an essential part, but you are a replaceable part. Me putting the money in and doing all that stuff, I take more risk. So that's why I always say, like, if you want more money, take as much risk as me. Financially, be that balls in, because people want when everything's good. People don't go in the ditches when everything's bad.
Right.
Oh shit, the company's going over. I should probably start looking for another job. Right?
Yeah.
That's what people say, right? And most people would be like, oh, shit's going south down here. This is where we run. Now, me as an owner, I go, this is where I dig my heels in and I start swinging, because I've been on both sides, and it's business. So you're here, you're there. And you know, everybody wants a piece of you when you're up. But when you're coming down, you start seeing people jumping ship.
Disappear.
Oh, but I thought you wanted that piece of the pie. Well, this is the thing. You want the piece of the pie, but I'm showing you the side of the pie that sucks.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. And like, that's why, like, I don't fault anybody for being a millionaire, a billionaire, and taking their money. They took the risks.
Yeah, no, you gotta.
Now there's a difference between self-made and these guys that come into these companies and just fucking liquidate them, control them, do whatever they do, come in and get paid millions of dollars, sell it off to another thing, and then they go on to another. And there's like guys that make careers. They just come in, fucking gut everything.
Grim Reapers.
Yep. And then they come in, they gut everything, they bring up profits again, and they sell it off, and then they go to another company. Like, that's just their job. They're vampires at the top, right? So, I mean, for the most part, most people that I know that start from the ground up, that are small, medium-sized businesses that are successful, are some of the most generous people out there
Yes.
because
I've
they know
learned,
how hard it is.
yep, working with wealthy people, the people who didn't earn it, the wife of the billionaire, the people who were born into it, the trust fund baby, they are the most unreasonable people. You make a mistake around them and they have to hammer you home. They have to let the boss know but the self-made millionaire, the guy who took the risk, the woman who put the time in, the woman who built the company, the guy who bought all the stuff, they became a millionaire because of their fucking grind. They'll sit down and talk to you. They'll talk to you like a normal human being. Oh yeah, thank you for this, blah, and they'll have a genuine conversation with you, and you could always tell the difference between the self-made and the people who didn't earn it. And then of course there is a few self-made that are now like, so arrogant at their success that they
yeah, but
become unreasonable.
You know what? That comes around in the karma train eventually.
Yeah.
It does. It really does, because
their wife leaves them and takes half.
Yeah, no, and vice versa, So I mean, it's a very weird thing with this class and social hierarchies and everything else. I mean, everybody's jockeying for a position to better themselves. And we're getting to a point where it doesn't matter how hard you try on your own and put your, pull up your bootstraps and go to work. Like, they're putting everything in play to work against you. So even those type of people, they can't survive anymore.
Well, yeah, that's part of the total control.
Yeah, breaking the will.
Eventually, it'll be easier to just eat the bugs, live in the pod, drive the electric car, cook on the electric stove. It'll just be easier to live that way. Well, for people like me and you, we'll be the ones looking at the wall, being made example of. I always say, if you ever watch the second or third Logan movie, where he's in Japan fighting the Silver Samurai, and he goes into the ninja village and he just runs in balls first, and all the ninjas are shooting him with the arrows and the chains. He said, when they come for guns, or when they start knocking on doors to door, that's what the government's going to have to do. I'm going to be made an example of, because I am not going on that train, getting in that car quietly. Not now, not ever.
I know, man. That's the problem. But I hope it never has to come to that. But
that's probably part of some of the end game here that we've been talking about.
1,000%.
So let me ask you now to get a little bit back on. We basically did an hour of a rant, but that's fine.
That's all right.
It was a great conversation.
People hear it. People need to hear that.
We're on track here. With these derailments, with these chemical spills, what do you think it's a retaliation? We obviously think there's something smelly here, right?
Do I think it's a retaliation? No, I think
like
it's
China retaliating. Do you think?
Well, they retaliating? They're just clearing land. They already own the politicians. They already own the land. I think it's just a clearing of the land and getting the people in order, just like they do over there. All right, you're going to be the workers.
Yeah.
It's not. China's here. That's what people don't understand. China's here.
Don't they have soldiers in Canada?
There's been like 30 to 50,000 soldiers on the border of Canada doing training exercises for years, right? So they're on that end. We just had the biggest land invasion of military age males coming through the southern border over the past 2 years. So as soon as they decide to turn those guys on, well, we just had 2 million soldiers into our country, right?
Yeah.
So you have that going on. You have all these chemical things, all that stuff. You have all these politicians, all these spies. You have all this farmland around military bases. Like they have fucking police departments in the United States. In the United States, wrap your head around that. They have Hong Kong or not Hong Kong, but like Chinese police stations in the United States. Who's allowing this to happen? First of all, law enforcement. What if there's another Chinese law enforcement in your county, in your district, like what are you doing? Fuck are you doing?
And what are they doing? Are they just sitting in an office waiting?
Oh no, they're here to keep an eye on their people. So this has got to be a red flag for you too. If they say, oh, there's only some spies, and all these college kids that come over, they're just students, everything. The Chinese government is concerned enough with their people being over here, and that there are that many of their people over here, that they decided to set up their own police departments.
That's wild.
Wrap
That
your
is
head
wild.
around that. Think
Yeah.
about how many people it would take for our country to go into China and
Yeah.
put in U.S. police
Yeah.
stations in China.
NYPD. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
wild.
there's more than you think, mother
Yep.
lovers. Like I can't, like, those simple tells, those simple red flags. Like, okay, there's that many Chinese people that the CCP is worried about. They're putting police stations in major cities.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy thing. But
Nobody
that's an
looks at it
episode
like
on its
that.
own. Yeah.
But no, I don't know many people that look like it. Like, that's
No.
how I look at things. That's why, like, my thought process on certain things is like, and for me, it's like, how can nobody else see this, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I try to find like layman's terms for, like, just a simple folk. It's like, yeah, that many people that got to set up a police department. It's got to be something, right?
Yeah, that's
Because look, there's towns in
and
New
they wouldn't
Jersey.
be doing it if there wasn't a plan in place.
There's
Yeah.
towns by my house, Chris, that don't have police departments, and the state troopers patrol the whole county.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, think about it that way. 12 towns, huge farmland, state
Mhm.
troopers control all that. They have enough people that they're willing to take a police station and put it in somewhere,
Yeah, that's crazy.
right?
That's great. Yeah. Full out towns don't have their own police station. Yeah, I think by like Skaggs, there's only like 6 cops for like 10,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, no, and I understand it, because if you're in, safe areas and, stuff like that, you don't need as many police officers in certain areas, or it's more rural or whatever. And like, listen, I mean, police are there to protect and serve. They're not there to ticket and do everything else, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Because smaller government is better. Let the people just kind of be and do their things. And most people are good people. I mean, there's a lot of scumbags out there, but there's a lot of really good people out there too that will
Mhm.
help and do for their communities.
There's
and,
more. Yeah.
we have to get back to that. I really feel like we have to get back to that connection. I mean, how many people, like, you moved into a new place, right?
hmm
Are you in like an apartment? Or are you in like a
Yeah, I'm in a
townhouse? Or
building.
something? Okay. Do
Yeah.
you know all your neighbors?
No, nobody wants to talk to you. It is insane. It is insane. I think I've been here for 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I think one person was like, "Hey, my name is blah blah blah. Nice to meet you." There's like
can't
one or
be
two
bothered.
other guys that I see on Reddit. Oh, hey, how you doing, pal? And just in their car and gone. But like, there's also people who like see you and they're like,
Panic.
yeah,
Panic.
yes,
Which is
panic.
which is crazy. So that's why I'm just saying, like, I mean, everybody's in different spots in their lives, but like, that's why I'm in a community where I know people, I talk to people, I try to be involved in the community, because when shit hits the fan, I have resources.
Yep.
It might not be everything I need, but I know I get enough done, and people have enough done. Like, that's the only reason I haven't moved out of Jersey. I said, like, I would have to rebuild my whole network.
Yeah.
Like, up here, I can get shit done wherever I need to be. I need travel. I'm gonna figure it out. I need
Your
ammo. I can
underground
figure it
bunker.
out.
Yeah.
I need food. I can find something. I need
Yeah.
transportation. I need moves made. I got somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I need electric. I need this fixed. I need a motor guy. Like, I have everything. And that's the only reason I didn't move south yet, because I don't have time to redo my network.
Yeah, that's important. Though, so we've been talking about, like, and Skaggs and I talked about this yesterday too, that he put it, to a Game of Thrones when Robert Baratheon told Ned Stark at the end of season 1, I don't know when, I don't know who, but there's a war coming.
Mhm.
There is something coming. And we can clearly see, I mean, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you think 5 chemical spills in a week and 4 unidentified objects being shot down in 3 days is all just one big coinky dink.
And 20 food processing plants lit on fire in the past year.
Yeah. If you just think that's all a little coinky dink, we don't need you moving forward. You've lost your seat at the table. But at the same time, we were talking, I believe me and you were talking a little bit about this earlier in the week. It's all coming crashing down around them as well. Them being whoever our
Trying
imaginary
to pull the
establishment.
puppet strings. Yep.
Yes. I mean, Hunter Biden is being, that the Hunter Biden laptop's real. All the Russia gate, all the Trump stuff is false.
Did you see they blamed the train derailment on Trump?
Yeah, I know. It's
I
of
know.
course.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's low hanging fruit at this point. There's investigations going on into tech
All big tech.
companies. There's, Pfizer is taking it on the chin with Project Vet. There's a lot of
The
chinks
FDA,
in the armor.
the FDA, the CDC just came out and pretty much admitted everything we know, that the shots giving everybody strokes and heart attacks.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And a lot of it is coming down. So, I mean, people are waking up. It's funny to see, like, you used to, I don't know if you still follow Q by any chance,
I
but
don't
like,
really.
yeah, so they always talked about sky events. They always talked about it had to be this
Watch
way
the
to wake
water.
people up.
Yeah.
And now think, what's more eye-opening than just magically in a week 4 unidentified flying objects get shot down over the country, then in the following week 5 chemical,
Dude,
like I
normies
said,
are losing their mind right
yeah,
now.
yes,
Plus,
so
we're like, let
yeah,
it burn.
it had to be this way.
It
It
did.
had
Like,
to be this way, man, to wake people up, to get them to change their point of view. And then even so, and a lot of this stuff's distractions. The Biden pushed the button to blow up the Nord Stream pipelines, allegedly. I'll give it allegedly.
and that's
Yep.
also
Yeah.
that. But
I just got him.
That's an act of war.
Yes, yes. I mean, war is on the horizon. War is coming, but the establishment is only aiming for this big war because they're taking a beating by they're losing their power.
You have
even with the Epstein client list coming out now, do I think?
Do you know when that's being released?
Within the next few weeks. It was said 60 days, but I don't know the start date of those 60 days. And I just know it's coming to an end sooner than later.
Do you think anybody will care?
Nobody's going to report it, just like nobody's reporting the train derailments and the chemical spills. I also believe that list is so big, A, and B, I think it's only from like 1992 to like 2005.
Yeah.
So like a majority of these people, like some of them are probably dead and gone already.
Mhm.
I don't think that the list is going to be like Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Bill like the Bills, what I mean? Donald Trump, because I know people want to throw him in on that list. And stuff. I think it's going to be a list. There'll be a little bit of gravy in there. You know what I mean? Like there'll be some names. I don't think it's going to be everyone we want. I think it'll be a good start, but at bare minimum, they don't want this list coming out either. So
yeah, they've been fighting pretty
people.
fucking hard to keep it quiet for quite some time. So it has to have some sort of damning evidence in there showing some major players that's going to take it a certain way. I mean, I hate to say this, but I think, if we all can, like, I think this is a reason why they're also trying to desensitize human life on the left, like, oh, abortion's fine, all that stuff. Like I saw a guy Brooklyn fucking dad. I wanted to punch him right in his
real champion.
Oh God, he's talking about gun control, and if you really cared about kids, and I was just like, I almost wrote it, but I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my breath on this idiot because he knows I'm right, but he's a paid propagandist, so he won't admit it. But he was like, you can't talk about your kids. The only time the left cares about kids is when they can chop off their genitalia
or abort them
or kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, but we're savages when they get shot outside the womb and everything else. But as long as we can rip them out of their mother's stomachs and we can cut off their dicks and tits, we're cool.
Jesus, yeah, put it like that. Yeah. I mean, it's a strong flex. Yeah, it's a
facts,
weird flex.
Guns are the problem. Like, no, your fucking mental derangement is the problem.
Yeah, your brainwashing is
and
the
like,
problem.
listen, man, and I mean, we're both from a younger era where, like, okay, and I would think this too, and I know it might not be the most popular opinion, but like, okay, is there certain times that abortion might be acceptable?
Yeah, I mean, incest, rape,
we talked about how
pro-choice.
small those percentages were, right? So I mean, I can understand, certain medical emergencies to save the mom's life,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's going to be times like it's not an irrational thing just because where the science is like where back in the medieval times, if they had to have a cesarean, like the mom died,
Yeah.
and like you had to kill one or the other. Now we have the technology to make sure that both lives, and it's a normal procedure. So excuse me. So there's stuff like that, but like when they come up with those fucking arguments, I just want to headbutt them. Like it's the
Yeah.
worst.
Because they only have that argument
They
because
do.
they
It's
got to
ass
toe the
backwards.
line of guns are bad.
My
you
body,
know?
my choice until they want to jab you. My body, my choice until you can't have guns. My body, my choice until this, and that. It's
Yeah.
such a hypocritical oath that all those fuckers take to be a part of that left side. And then people are, oh, you're far right. Like, I fucking hate the Republicans too. They're a bunch of cuck pussies.
Yep.
Like, I am for people. I am for people. All shades, all colors, all religions.
It
Don't
just-
give a fuck. I want
know-
the people to live and do their things.
When I think on our first episode of this segment, we were just like, at this point, you just, yeah, sure, I'm a racist. Yep, I'm an extreme.
Yep, I don't
right
care.
wing.
Yep,
Yeah.
extremist bait, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. No, I'm
Yeah.
for my people.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, this has been a hell of a conversation. You got any more, or what do you want to do?
Nah, but dude, I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we let people know about, all those things that we're going on, but we're talking about real things that, go through everyday Americans' mind. And we're trying to show you guys the mindsets and how we look through the lenses, because we've been more awake to a lot of stuff for a certain time. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about, like once you understand the game plan or the patterns, it's real easy to recognize the bullshit a lot quicker, right? We talked about
Yep.
it, I think, on last
Skag
episode.
shared a great tweet. He said, we know about the Chinese spy balloon. We know the American government's lying. We know the military's lying. We know the Chinese government's lying. We don't know what they're lying about, but we just know they're lying. Like, you can't trust anyone. And it's hard because, people look at us and, they think we want them to change their entire way of life or some convoluted, insane idea to be some gun-toting right-wing extremist, when it's not. We just want people to wake up to the bullshit and be prepared, because if the sooner you get prepared, the sooner you wake up to this, the sooner you wake up, you take this information and you spread it, the harder it makes it for the oppressors to oppress you. And this, even if you're 5% prepared, you're 5% more prepared than you were last week. And when shit hits the fan, you at least have that little bit of preparedness to take you on to wherever you got to go.
I agree 1,000%. And that's what our job is just to spread the information and try to get it out there. So guys, make sure you like, and ladies, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Send all our channels. Skags and Cap are still on the YouTubes,
Yeah.
So you can go check them out there.
I just got a message. The CEO of YouTube is stepping down.
Why?
I didn't read it
because they nuke Sergeant and Samurai's channel. That's
well,
why.
I'm pretty sure Congress just called the heads of social media companies after what they found in the Twitter hearings. I think they're going to now investigate like Facebook, Instagram,
they said Facebook,
YouTube,
Google, all of them. They called them. Yep, Microsoft, all of them.
And shocking, she stepped down.
Ooh, how convenient.
And we'll hear more stories of how YouTube had 20 ex-CIA, 13 ex-FBI, 19 NSA agents, working for them, and Google had literally 3 generals, and counterintelligence officers working for them. We'll see what happens. As scary as I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as scary as the stuff that me and you were just talking about, the potential retaliation, the war on the horizons, just remember people are fighting back. There is, don't be black-pilled. There is a white pill in all this, because as much as these, train derailments are going to fuck up the environment and hurt us, we're trying to hurt them back in other ways.
Yeah, we're in the midst of it's the fog of war. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what side's winning. You don't know side's losing, whatever. But we have no choice but to win.
Yeah.
So when you have a choice, like where failure is not an option, then usually that is the side that will prevail. So
Yeah.
make sure you guys definitely, check it out, spread the information that we're spreading. I mean, this is all we can do from here at this point. And hopefully we don't have to step into the other realms. But yeah, man, this is what we got to do, and just keep going on and keep doing what you're doing. We know there's a lot of really good people out there, and we're just trying to bring that community together, because I believe in my heart of hearts that 90% of the human population is good people.
Yeah.
That 10% can get fucked.
That 10, I always, between bots and propagandists and just weak brainwashed people, like, how big of the population of the world's population even do you really think that is? You know what I mean? Like, there's no real numbers. I mean, I'm sure there is. I just know, like, what's the population percentage of the trans community? What's the population percentage of the LGBT community? What's the percentage of actual white supremacists or KKK members?
Well, you can make it look at however you want when you just put the spotlight on that and make it look
No.
like it's the biggest thing, but it's point
No.
zero. It's like COVID.
Yeah.
0.0000. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's what you're going to run into with that stuff anyway. But at the same time, look how inflated the voting registry numbers are.
Mhm.
How inflated do you think the census is? Do you really think that there's 7 billion people on the planet, or there might only be a billion people on the planet?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is I think they keep a lot of these numbers inflated so they can look at you and be like, look, there's this many people.
There's a reason for what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, there's parts of this earth that we still haven't even stepped our feet on.
Mm-hmm. And you're not allowed to explore Antarctica. If there's an ice wall or resources out there, we're not allowed to go check. Yeah. That's the only thing. It's funny because Skaggs brought up Flat Earth Dave last night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy that the earth is flat, but boy, the conspiracies behind Antarctica are quite interesting. That all the nations around the world 55 years ago signed a peace treaty to not do anything to Antarctica. And just for some reason, as dirty as people play, as crazy as things get, nobody's been like, you know what? Fuck that treaty. I'm going to go to Antarctica. No one's done it. So that's a conspiracy in its own.
No, it's wild. So before we leave on the note, my one thing is how do they control us? Resources, land, money. If there is other land out there, there is more resource. There is less control. So that's the only possible viable answer I can figure out for them to think that we're in the bubble.
Yeah.
To make everybody think that this is all we got.
Yep. And once it's gone, it's gone. Yeah.
And if we knew what was outside the bubble, we'd be like, whoa, there's like 48 other Americas. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's enough oil to take us to, Mars and back. Yeah. Yeah. Pluto and back, light years and back.
There's different realms. How many other bad bitches are out there, bro? What are we doing with our stock, man?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It has been great. I don't even know what I'm going to tell Skaggs. What the hell are we talking about?
Martians and weird shit and CEOs.
Business in America, COVID, trains,
automobiles.
I'm just gonna be like, just put a bunch of adjectives in the description and let people figure it out. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed another bonus segment. Check out Samurai on Sergeant and Samurai. Check me out on the Two Do Men podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope you guys tune in next week. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
Later, kids.